talking, laughing here in the break. Ciara's going to be okay. She can handle Mike's jokes. We don't have any, like Brad said, no deodorant stories yet, or lack of deodorant stories like Adalia had when she first joined us. But let's give her
Yeah,
time. I think we'll get there.
I'm
Oh, I
not
agree.
certain.
Yeah.
I don't know if she'll quit that far, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. No, she's going to be great. Hey, guys, we were talking before, top of the show. We've been talking really for several days now, the three of us, about the story in ESPN earlier this week about the Big Ten considering a $2 billion private equity deal to come in, and they would basically, they would basically now have 20 shares in terms of sharing revenue, whatever. They would come in and help create new business opportunities to create even more money. I think this is a very dangerous, slippery slope if they choose to go down this path.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting, but money seems to be all that we're worried about anymore in college athletics. And so if you get $2 billion, they're probably going to take it. Right. I mean, but I do agree. I'm not sure this is where we want to go in this arena. I think we've, and maybe we'll reach a point where college athletics has jumped the shark at some point. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I have real reservations about private equity. You can see what it's done. Your local veterinarian, how the prices have just skyrocketed there. The dentistry and some doctors have went that route. I just think when people buy in for $2 billion, they don't buy in to be silent and sit in the background. And if you have a public university and things don't go right, I mean, are all of a sudden the next thing you know, private equity wants to own the University of Michigan or something like that? I mean, it's there. I just have a real hesitation to allow someone else to get a hand on the driver's wheel, especially when it's such a tough time anyway, and it's hard to make good decisions. I don't think you need somebody who's going to be there with nothing more than dollars and cents in mind.
Yeah, I just think it's tough because where does it stop? Once you open the door, we had discussed, a year ago, there were reports of Florida State maybe trying to get, at the time, I think the number was 300 million in private equity to possibly buy out the ACC grant of rights, their deal with ESPN, and maybe go to the Big Ten or the SEC. They worked out the money deal, so, that kind of went away. But if you go this route, then what's to stop a team from doing this? What's to stop another conference? I mean, you're just opening the door, and there are other players who would be willing to step up, financial players, and say, yeah, I want a piece of this. And all of a sudden now you've gone from what used to be amateur sports to it truly is, in many ways, it is much more a business than what it is right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. Here's the thing, and maybe I'm crazy here, but it seems to me like, although, we have a lot of people who are fans of professional sports teams, college sports teams are different. Like there's more, and I really think like if you start throwing all the money towards these college sports teams, they may take the place of some of these professional leagues because the reality is there's more money involved. I mean, and now we're going 5 years, potentially 5 and 5, right? How long is it going to be until we just have 10-year college teams and we don't, you know what I mean? It's just like, I just don't know what the end game looks like. But when you're talking billions of dollars, that's pretty wild. That's for one league, billions of dollars being thrown in there.
The one thing that it would do, which some people might like, is it might actually keep the Super League from happening because the grant of rights would go till 2046. And people thought that 2030 might be a year that is very pivotal for college sports. That's about the only silver lining I can see on this, because you're also looking at the money potentially being divided unequally, which the Big Ten has never done before. But boy, that has helped Texas destroy more than one conference, and certainly the first among equals has kept Notre Dame alive as an independent because they can scarf it all in on their own. But I'm just not certain in a big conference, once you start doing that, the ACC's now followed down that path. The Pac-10 did it. The SEC and the Big Ten have been very successful without having to open up that Pandora's box.
Yeah. Big Ten and SEC already leading the chase in terms of TV dollars. Let's see where this goes. Hey, speaking of dollars, WNBA, they're headed to the NBA Finals. It's Las Vegas and Phoenix, a best of 7. But it's the bigger battle is going to be here in the offseason with this new collective bargaining agreement. And Afisa Collier, shots fired, calling out the commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, questioning her leadership, sharing some very awkward details of Engelbert's comments about Caitlin Clark should be thankful that, she has the WNBA platform to make all this money, and though she signed these contracts before she started playing for the Indiana Fever. The players should be thankful that she got the media rights. She said that only losing teams complain about the refs. Shots fired on this. This is going to be, it's sizing up to be a very contentious labor battle here in the offseason.
I don't know how you can continue as commissioner after saying those things. I just don't see how she can stay in that role. And I think that was the goal. I think clearly that she's not well respected by the players, and that creates a problem. Because you didn't see a bunch of other players chime in and say, oh, wait a second. They all were like, yeah, you're right. Because the reality is, as much as some of we talked about early animosity for Caitlin Clark when she came in the league because there's a little bit of jealousy, I think, they realize now they're making money off of her. Every team in the league makes money because she's in the league, and they understand that. And so they also understand that she had these contracts long before she came into the WNBA.
Yeah, that was a classic chicken and egg story that I think was much more clearer to everybody on the planet except for the commish. And I look at this and I just wonder, when I watch some of the refereeing in that, and it's brutal. And you just think you want to protect your players more than that. I mean, and just that whole thing about, I just love the idea that, only losers complain about the refs. That's such a cliche, especially when you think about people getting hurt and not being able to play because of a whistle that maybe should have been called, or trying to dissuade somebody by throwing them out 5 games ago for the same behavior that might injure the next Caitlin Clark.
Yeah. And again, too many injuries this season, too many key players. Caitlin Clark, Afisa Collier, Asia Wilson, the 4-time MVP. That's a record for her. Jonquel Jones, former MVP. Brianna Stewart, former MVP. All miss large parts of the season because of injury. So, yeah, they got to certainly look at this. And I want to throw out one more thing as well. Very quickly, we got to get to our picks. We're running up out of time here. Keep in mind that Afisa Collier and Brianna Stewart are co-founders of the Winter 3-on-3 League, The Unrivaled, that just went through another round of investment earlier this summer. They're now valued at $340 million. They made about $30 million in year one. Hypothetical, I'm putting it out here. If the WNBA decides to lock out the players, there are more than 100 WNBA players who will be without a contract when the season ends. They're free agents. They're not beholden to any team. What if Unrivaled says, we're going to start our own summer league? Come over here and play with us, and you'll have an equity share in the league as well. How many players will stick with the WNBA when they can make more money over here, and they're on TV as well with the deal with Turner Sports? Just a hypothetical. Look, NFL players in 1987, baseball players in 1994 didn't have a place to go. The women basketball players, pro players, they have a place to go if the WNBA is not an option. I'm just saying. Okay, well, guys, let's get to our picks. We're running out of time right now. Boy, last week, Mike actually got the win, 2-2. Brad and I went 1-3. So we got to find a way to make this happen. Okay, let's get through these quickly. Brad, Illinois, Purdue.
Illinois. Illini.
Illinois.
Yeah, I'm going Illinois as well. Vanderbilt, Alabama.
I'm going Alabama. I still think they're Alabama. And Vanderbilt is really good this year. I really like them, but I'm going to Alabama.
I'm going to go, Vanderbilt intrigues me, so I'm going to go Vandy.
I'm going to go Vanderbilt. I believe in the Doris, baby. Break on through to the wild side. Miami and Florida State.
Give me the Canes. Canes over Florida State. I think Florida State was exposed a little bit. Turns out beating Clemson isn't a big deal because everybody does it.
Yeah, I think this Miami team's going to feast on some Seminole.
Yeah. I think Hurricanes get the win on the road in Tallahassee Saturday night, and they go to 5-0. All right, we are out of time. Appreciate our guests as always. Appreciate you, Illinois, Purdue. Be sure to go to IlliniGuys.com for all your post-game coverage, and we will see you same station, same time next week. ILL.
I know.
I.